Let's take our legs wide. And then reach the arm across the body and then out to the side. Reach the arm across the body and out to the side. Now, if that's too much, you could do shoulder roll or elbows forward and back. Otherwise, with the arm relatively straight. And if you want to, you can take the gaze to the fingers. Inhale as you reach, and exhale as you lower. And we'll stick with that, or we can begin to deepen it. Take the hand to the lower back, draw the elbow back, and then other arm reaching up, hand to the lower back, draw the elbow back, and then repeat. Inhaling as you reach, exhaling as you lower. Last one. And release the arms. Bring in the feet hip distance apart and come into the top of your mat. Bring your hands into prayer, so the hands, palms together, and the thumbs are gently resting in the middle of the chest, the heart center. As you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Maybe take the gaze to the fingertips, maybe not. Gaze forward otherwise. And then exhale, release the arms wide. Interlace your hands behind the back of the body. Inhale, reach the arms away from you. Maybe take the gaze up slightly. Exhale, releasing. Take your hands to the waist. Bend the knees. This is chair pose. From there, straighten the leg. Hinge forward from the hips into a forward fold. Your forward fold might be high with the hands at the thighs. It might be lower with the hands at the shins, or deeper, hands toward the floor. The most important thing here is that the back is nice and long. The stomach is slightly drawn in, protecting through the back. Bend your knees deeply and allow the left leg to extend back. So you're in a high lunge here. Drop the back knee down. If your hands don't reach the floor, bring the hands to the thigh. Right foot back onto all fours. Spread your hands wide, knees are hip distance apart. Take the chin in toward the chest into cow, round through the back. And then if the back feels well, arch through the back. Otherwise, just keep the back straight. Arch through the back, bend the elbows, lift the chin, draw the shoulders back toward the hips. Round through the back, chin in toward the chest. And then arching through the back, lift the chin. Take a few of these, rounding and arching. Back to neutral spine, so somewhere in between the round and the arch. And sink the buttocks back down toward the heels. Extend your arms out in front, or if you prefer, bend the elbows and rest the forehead on the backs of the elbows. Deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. Deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. Feel free to stay there if you want to. Otherwise, up onto all fours. Tuck the toes. Lift the tailbone up toward the sky. So downward dog. Gaze toward your knees. Shoulders drawn away from the ears. Hands spread wide. Pressing down into all four corners of the palms of the hands. Then begin to drop the heels down toward the mat. They may or may not reach. Drop your knees back down to the floor. Bring your hands a little more forward. And then take the weight slightly forward. So now my bum was over my knees before, and now my bum's slightly forward. Bend the elbows, keep the elbows tucked in, and then straighten. Keep your head in alignment with the spine, don't drop that head down. Bend the elbows, try to keep those elbows tucked in, and then release. One more of these, bending and release. So if you feel strong enough, you can lower down fully by dropping the nose down, then the chest and the belly, or we can drop down onto our forearms. Extend one leg back and the other, lowering down onto the front of the body. Draw your hands back by your chest, forehead down on the floor. Inhale as you gently rise up the head, neck and chest. Draw the shoulders back. Exhale as you release back down. Press down into the hands, rising up onto all fours. Sink into child's if you need to. Otherwise, tuck your toes, downward dog. Gaze toward your knees. 2 options to come into a lunge. Easiest option, drop your knees down, left foot forward. Harder, weight into the right leg lifts up to the sky. Bend both knees, left foot forward. So we're all into a lunge. Any of those choices to get there. Again, if your hands don't reach the floor, bring the hand to the thigh. Make sure the knee isn't over the toe. Back foot joins the front. And release your head down. Take the hands to the waist. Draw the elbows back. Bend the knees slightly, rising all the way back up. Reach the arms wide up to the top of the head, over the top of the head. Hands back to prayer. And then release your hands, palms facing forward. Take a breath in and a breath out. Breath in and breath out. And in and out. Hands back to prayer. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, maybe gaze toward the fingertips or gaze forward. Exhale, take the arms wide, hands to the waist. Draw the elbows back, bend the knees into chair. So just have a look at my knees. So this is what most people do. The knees bend, the knees go over the toes. Think more about sitting backwards so the knees don't go over the toes. Straighten through the legs. Hinge forward from the hips. Allow your hands to drop down toward the mat. Bend your knees deeply, right foot back. Drop the back knee down. Hands stay at the floor or to the thigh if you prefer. Left foot back. So you're on all fours. Cat and cow, chin in toward the chest. Round through the back. Arch through the back, bend the elbows, lift the chin. Round and through the back into cat. Arch through the back into cow. Stay with that flow or sink down into child's pose. Stay in child's pose or rising up into downward dog. So this is the sun salutation of the yoga practice. Great practice to have. And people kind of think, oh no, I can't do it. But it's really about making it your own. Once you know the poses, you can adapt and adjust it as you want to. There's no real set rules. Drop your knees down to the floor. Bring the hands more forward. Take the weight over those wrists. So the shoulders are now above the wrists. Bend the elbows, keep those elbows tucked in. Then straighten. Bend the elbows. And straighten. So stick with that a few more times. And then we're going to lower down onto the front of the body by either down into press up. Keep those elbows tucked in. Belly lowers last. Or drop your forearms down, one leg back and the other. Lowering down onto the front of the body. So we can keep the hands as we did before by the shoulders, or this time perhaps we change it, interlace the fingers behind the back of the body. And inhale, gently rise up the head, neck and chest. Reach the arms away from you. Exhale, as you release back down, bring the hands under the shoulders, rising up onto all fours. Downward dog or child's pose. Child's pose is buttocks toward the heels, sinking the forehead down toward the floor. Downward dog, your tailbones lifting up toward the sky into an inverted V shape. Most important thing in downward dog is keep that back nice and long. So 2 options to come into a lunge. Drop your knees, left foot forward. Or drop your knees, right foot forward. Or take the weight into the left leg, right leg extends up to the sky. Bend both knees, right foot forward. So we're now all in a lunge, either with our hands on the floor, hands to the thigh. Back foot, tuck the toe, bring it forward. Feet hip distance apart, release your head down. But your forward fold might be hands to the floor, shins or thighs. Bend the knees. Take the arms wide. Inhale, rise all the way back up, arms over the top of the head, hands to heart. Release your hands facing forward. Deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. Deep breath in. And a long, slow breath out.